We are looking about, I explained about CNS introduction. In that, we have seen brain, spinal cord thing. In the brain, I have explained the anatomy and physiology of the brain. Especially, I have discussed the four major important parts of the brain. The four major important parts are brainstem, cerebellum, diencephalon, and cerebral cortex. So out of these four, brainstem has got three parts. It starts with medulla oblongata, pons, and midbrain. Majority of cranial nerves comes from this region. From 3 to 12 cranial nerves will be coming from this region, and they have got a lot of control over all these nerves. After that, you have cerebellum is there. Cerebellum is known as little brain because of its appearance. Cerebellum is the major controlling center for all skeletal muscle contractions. The way we stand, our gait, walk, everything is dependent upon this cerebellum. After this, we have diencephalon is there. Diencephalon contains thalamus, hypothalamus, and epithalamus. Again, all the three are very much important, especially hypothalamus is responsible for the integration and control of autonomic nervous system. Not only that, from hypothalamus, you have pituitary gland comes out, which has got anterior and posterior lobes, and they will be releasing a lot of endocrine hormones. After that, we have seen about cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex, 85% of the brain is made up of the cerebral cortex. It has got integrative functions are there. Integrative function means whatever the sensory input is there, it is processed and a motor output will be given accordingly. This is called integrative function. And the cerebral cortex is seat for our intelligence, smartness, everything is based on the cerebral cortex. After that, I have explained about the layers which are covering our brain. Meninges. Meninges is made up of three layers: dura mater, arachnoid mater, pia mater. Now, the space between dura and arachnoid is known as subdural space. The space between arachnoid and pia mater is known as subarachnoid space. The importance of subarachnoid space is cerebrospinal fluid revolves in this subarachnoid space. Now, after that, I have explained about the cranial bones which are covering our brain. See, you have brain is there on the top, you have layers on the top, you have cranial bones are there. We have eight cranial bones are there: sphenoid, ethmoid, frontal, occipital, two parietal, and two temporal. So all these things will make up our brain. Now the meninges will goes to spinal cord also. There is a slight difference is there. Between dura mater and bones, there is a small gap is there, and that is what is known as epidural space. Now, when people undergo for cesarean operations, epidural anesthesia is given. Epidural space is not present in brain; it is only present in spinal cord. Now, after that, I have explained about blood-brain barrier and cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is formed in ventricles. Ventricle means small chamber. In brain, we have four ventricles are there: two lateral ventricles, third one, and fourth ventricle. Now, in this ventricle, the internal blood vessel network is known as choroid plexus. With the help of ependymal cells and this choroid plexus, cerebrospinal fluid is formed. Cerebrospinal fluid, the major function is it will protect our brain from mechanical agitation. Now it contains the plasma is seeped out from the blood and it forms cerebrospinal fluid. It contains white blood cells, cations, anions, glucose, urea, certain components. The other things, blood-brain barrier is the one which is protecting our brain from all the toxic chemicals. Now, whatever is there in the blood will not reach us to reaches to brain because it is protected by blood-brain barrier. Now, after that, I have explained about glial cells and neuron. The basic functional unit of central nervous system is neuron. Neuron has got dendrites, cell body, axon, and axon terminal. Now, the dendrite cell bodies contains Nissl bodies, which are nothing but granules of rough endoplasmic reticulum. On this rough endoplasmic reticulum, you have protein synthesis takes place. Because the presence of Nissl bodies, this dendrite and cell body appears gray in color. Coming to axon, axon do not have these Nissl bodies, and axon is covered by myelin sheath. Myelin is a lipid sheath. The function of myelin sheath is to insulate the axon because axon is transmitting a lot of electronic signals, and that is insulated by myelin sheath. Because of the presence of myelin sheath, it appears as white in color. This is what gives the name to brain: gray matter and white matter. At the end of the neuron, neurotransmitter biosynthesis occurs, which is released. The communication between neuron to neuron or communication between a neuron to affect an organ is because of neurotransmitters. Now, after that, I have explained about action potential. The basic conduction of nerve is based on action potential. It's all the change in potential is what makes us aware of sensations. And the change in potential results in action potential. Like the nerve resting membrane potential is minus 70 millivolts. When there is a mechanical pressure or thermopressure or due to some uh, neurotransmitter, when the potential is changed, it gives rise to action potential. But action potential is what indicates brain what is happening in and around us or in the internal brain. So action potential is responsible for all the sensations and everything. The communication is through action potential. In human beings, there is two types of neuronal communication is there. Chemical neurotransmission and electrical neurotransmission. Electrical neurotransmission directly passing of ions may cause electrical neurotransmission, which is very less in human beings. But the major one is because of chemical neurotransmission. Neurotransmission means the information of one neuron will be transferred to another neuron or to another organ with the help of chemicals. That chemical is known as a neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitter will be sending signals from one neuron to another neuron or one neuron to another effector organ. Now these neurotransmitters, based upon the chemistry, based upon their activation, are classified. We'll see the important neurotransmitters. Now we have amino acid neurotransmitters and amine neurotransmitters are there. The important CNS neurotransmitters are glutamate and aspartate. Glutamate, aspartate, if you remember, it comes in biochemistry. They are dicarboxylic acid containing amino acids, acidic amino acids. Amino acid means it contains an amine group and acid group. Acidic amino acid means in addition to that one acid group, one more additional acid group is there. As they are called as acidic amino acids, aspartate, glutamate. Both of them are very prominent excitatory neurotransmitter in CNS. Now understand what you mean by excitatory. Excitatory. In case of neuronal conduction, the moment you see excitatory, it indicates these neurotransmitters, when they are released, they will cause depolarization in the effector organ or in another neuron. So depolarization is what causes excitation. So action potential is generated and the signal is transferred. That is what is called as excitatory neurotransmitters. The potential generated is known as excitatory postsynaptic potential. It is known as generate excitatory postsynaptic potential. So it's all fancy words, but you need to understand what is happening. The moment glutamate or aspartate are released from the neurons, they will cause depolarization. That is what generates an action potential. Because it is generating action potential, it is called as excitatory neurotransmitter. The potential generated by excitatory neurotransmitter is excitatory postsynaptic potential. So after the synapse, it causes excitation, hence it is known as excitatory. So these are amino acids. Along with this, you have some other things like gamma amino butyric acid, and then glycine. See, these two are also amino acids, glycine and GABA. This is gamma amino butyric acid. Acid is there, amine is there. So it is called as amino acid. Glycine is the basic amino acid. Now, these two are inhibitory neurotransmitters. Inhibitory. And they generate inhibitory postsynaptic potentials. Again, the same thing. The moment you see inhibitory in case of neurotransmission, that indicates they cause hyperpolarization. What is excitation? Depolarization, opposite to the charge. What is that normal charge in the neuron? The resting membrane potential is negative 70 millivolts, minus 70 millivolts. If it is converting into positive, it causes excitation. If the negative further increases, it is inhibitory. So GABA and glycine are the major inhibitory, glutamate and aspartate are major excitatory. All these are amino acids. Along with this, you have amine neurotransmitters are also there. Amine neurotransmitters like norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin. Serotonin is nothing but 5-HT5-hydroxytryptamine. So all of them are amine neurotransmitters. Now, in this again, norepinephrine, epinephrine can be considered as excitatory. Dopamine has got mixed actions. In some of the neuronal junctions, it acts as excitatory. In some of the neuronal junctions, it acts as inhibitory. It has got dual nature. Serotonin is also a kind of inhibitory. Inhibitory or mood stabilizing one. See, serotonin has got multiple effects. It will be acting on minimum 6 types of receptor types. So it has got a multitude of effects, but majorly it is kind of inhibitory or mood stabilizing neurotransmitter. So these are all the major neurotransmitters which we find in our CNS. Glutamate, aspartate are excitatory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurotransmitters will cause excitatory postsynaptic potential. Excitation is nothing but the depolarization. In the neuron, you have negative resting membrane potential is there. When the negative is converted to positive, it generates an action potential, hence it is called as excitatory neurotransmitter. GABA, glycine are the major inhibitory neurotransmitters, and inhibitory, they cause inhibitory postsynaptic potential. Inhibitory means when they are released, they will increase the negative charge. For example, GABA is a chloride channel. When it opens the chloride channel, chloride gets into the neuronal cell. What is the charge inside? Minus 70. If negative chlorides are getting inside, the minus charge increases, and that is what is inhibitory postsynaptic potential. These are amino acids. You have amines are also there, like norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin. Norepinephrine, epinephrine are excitatory, dopamine has got mixed nature, serotonin inhibitory. So this is about neurotransmitters of CNS. Now, after this introduction, let us get into the CNS diseases, and I'm going to start about psychopharmacological agents. Psychopharmacology.